Morning everybody. I think if I see this or not, but I don't think it helps trying to pretend some things it's not. I think what really helps, particularly with menopause and for others going through it, is to see what it's like in the moment. So I'm fucking raging today. Honestly, I've slammed the kettle against the kitchen side and told that to fuck off. I've told the gate to fuck off. I've told myself to fuck off. I'm just raging, and then I alternate between that and just bursting into floods of tears. You know, just sat there crying, and sadness and pain and an overwhelm of it all. So I've been saying for a few days that I'm tired. So I think this is definitely a hormonal crash. The thing with HRT is the hormonal crashes still come. You just don't. Well, I found for me, I just don't stay there. So that's the really good thing about HRT, because you can get out of it. And when they first used to come, they would hang around for weeks. And I tried antidepressants at one point before I was on the HRT, and didn't do anything. It didn't lift my spirits. It just didn't do anything. And so I talk about hormonal crashes, but I'm not sure I've ever done a vlog while I've been experiencing one. And there's been quite a few things going on in my life that have been quite challenging, but they would normally be okay challenging, and when the hormones are quite stacked, it's not okay challenging. It's completely and utterly fucking overwhelming, and there's almost like a desperation in you. And what I've forgotten, so I'm doing this walking challenge because I'd got unfit. I'd had an operation on my tendon. I'm sick of being unfit. I'm sick of going all about my fucking leg, and just really wanting to get on with life. So I'm on day 10 of my walking challenge, and I come out, as you can see, it's beautiful country. This is literally on my doorstep. I literally walk out my front door to this, so I'm really blessed. I know there's so many things that I'm fucking blessed with. I know that. I'm not some, we're all a bit of a narcissist, I suppose. I'm not lacking awareness on that, but that doesn't make the symptoms disappear. And I think a lot of, if people feel like, well, it's a difficult comparison because obviously I put all this shit out there, right? So, but I do wonder whether people feel that they're not able to share how they really feel when these crashes and these moments come, because, we're told to say gratitude and look at what we have got and how it could be worse and all that. So there's this kind of self-flagellation and guilt that comes with it all, which just serves to make it all worse. It doesn't make it all better. Because ultimately it's very, very difficult to find psychologically safe spaces where actually you can just allow things to pour out of you until they're gone, until they're burnt, until they're spent, and then you can move on. And I think that's really dangerous, because I think if things stay inside as they fester and they get stagnant and they become toxic and they turn to resentment and fear and anger and all these really shitty, horrible things, which is so exhausting to live with. And one of the things I've forgotten, so I came out today, and I didn't want to come out. I was tired. I can't stop crying. I haven't even got my trainers on. I've come out in my sliders to do a 5k walk in the field. Actually, they're far more comfortable than any of the expensive trainers I've got. But anyway, as I'm walking, I thought Adele had come on, just, random selection. And I haven't been listening to music while I've been walking. And today I did, because I think I just needed some escapism. And I'm listening to Adele, raw, authentic Adele. And the tears just start coming as I'm walking. I'm in the middle of, nowhere. And honestly, I am just sobbing and I'm raging and I'm shouting. And all of this stuff's coming out of me. And I'm completely free to do that. I'm not self-conscious because there's nobody around me apart from the dog and field, and the dog knows how fucking mad I am anyway. And then I've just got to the end of the fields before I start walking on the road home, and it's just really hit me, which is why I'm doing this vlog, how much better I feel. It's like it's like getting really mucky in the garden and going in the bath and coming out and you're all nice and clean, and it's just like something's just been washed away. And maybe another wave of this will come, maybe it won't, I don't know. I do know, and this is definitely the lifeboat that I can hang on to. now that I monitor my menopause symptoms more. I do know that this will pass. I do know that these are cycles, and I do know that the HRT helps this pass an awful lot quicker than when I wasn't on HRT. So I will be really surprised if I still feel like this tomorrow. But I wanted to share it because I'd forgotten about nature and walking, and it's not about having all of the kit on. It's not about anything really, apart from just losing yourself and giving yourself permission to rage or to cry and just let everything out. Because we never really do that, do we? Because we don't want to sound like we're moaning or a narcissist or we're in victim mode or we're feeling sorry for ourselves or others are worse off than us or we should be grateful. And this guilt shaming we put ourselves through, and it all stays inside, and then it's like a little bit's already there, so next time it comes it's just building on it. And that's a lot, isn't it? But it was just really important to share this because it feels like just giving myself permission to have raged and cried on this walk. It just feels like I've emptied it all. And Dr. Edith Eger talks about this. She's a really famous psychologist and Auschwitz survivor, and she lived with guilt for years. And she said it wasn't really until her 40s, which is when she qualified as a psychologist, that she learned how to cope. And one of the things she talks about with grief, and I think there's a lot of grief with the menopause, I think there's a lot of grief with life, quite frankly. I think, there's that dying 1,000 deaths, which is so true. Grief isn't just about the loss of somebody dying. There's grief attached to so much. And she talks about giving yourself permission to actually go out there and to shout and to let it all out. And it's so important, because if stuff stays inside you, this toxicity and stagnation, it can kill us. It can manifest, and I'm sure it does. I think, you can definitely see it, the research that's done on trauma, it can manifest in some really dodgy, difficult stuff. So, top tip for the day: if you're raging and you're falling out with the kettle and you're falling out with, the garden gate and anything animate or inanimate that's in front of you, including yourself, and you're disliking yourself, you're hating yourself, and you're confused and you're overwhelmed by everything, and this fucking menopause is driving you mad, I just can't tell you how good it's been to get out in the fresh air with nobody around for miles and miles and just fucking sob and scream and shout and let it out. As ever, this is done with a genuine intent to help others who might be feeling like this, but don't have either the psychological safety, or want to put things out there. You know what? I don't mind. I actually really don't mind. I think if something good can come out of days of feeling like this, then that's a plus, right? That's a win. Okay, lots of love.